keeping it smooth. Got the Hennessy, got this Bohemian Crystal. I don't have my Holy Grail today, but I decided since I'm gonna do a little comedy, I'm gonna break out the Hennessy and a little bit of Bohemian Crystal. I'm just tripping on how lately, we see all this violence in the news, and we just had another shooting in Atlanta. Basically, white people crazy as hell. This kid goes up into this school, basically tries to spray down this school in Atlanta. What really trips me out is the fact that if it was black people doing that shit, let me take a vote. How many you think it would be more than 10 minutes by show of hands that they would have our ass locked up or ship our ass up out here? It's just ridiculous. I always reflect back. I've had, homies that, we go way back, and I remember kicking it with my homie once, and, he was always wanting to be the player, and he always had so much game that, he puts you up on, and, the crazy things we used to do, and some of those things, as you get older, you still, can't let it go. But I remember this one time, we was out in the food court at this particular location, and these chicks were walking by with some beautiful young ladies. And so my homie was like, yo man, I'm gonna show y'all something, man. This is how you get out. So he's like, I can pick the baddest chick up in here, and I'm gonna step to her, and just watch in minutes, man, I'm gonna have her eating out of my hand. So I was like, yo man, you ain't got no more game than nobody else, man. It is what it is, So he jumps up, runs over to this bad chick, He steps to her, he's like, yo mom, hey, check this out. What's going on? We're sitting here, me and my boys, why don't you come on over and kick it with us? And so, she was just stood there like dumbfounded for a second. And finally, she came about her senses and went on over, with him and sat down with us. And, so we sat there, and he's like, yo man, watch what I do with this here. So at the end of the evening, he calls us back. He's like, yo man, I told you dog, I was gonna smash it. I told you I was gonna smash it. These honeys that are real pretty like that, they ain't used to cats stepping to them. So basically, when you step to them real hard like that, I'm telling you, man, you can crush them. So you trying to teach us game, man? We done traveled all around the world and got it in. So like, now you gonna teach us game? He's like, nah, dog, I'm just saying, man. It's these chicks, these bad chicks that it's the dudes who scared to step to them. So when you step to them real strong, man, I'm telling you, man, they don't know how to take that. So they just let you like roll out, do whatever you want to do with them, because they're just so excited that they finally found a brother that's gonna come to them, and step to them, with it, keeping it real. So I was like, man, you about crazy as hell. So he made it a point that every chick that he saw that was bad, he was gonna step to her. And sometimes there was amazing results. So years went by, we went our separate ways, did our thing, and so I went back home and decided to drop through and holler at my boy. So I rolled up to his crib, found out where he had relocated at, and go to the crib and ring the doorbell. This big sister come to the door, shoulders up like a linebacker, she's like, what you want? And I was like, yo, Ray here? And she's like, yeah, Ray here, wait a minute. So homie comes to the door. I said, yo man, so what's good, man? I didn't know you had your sister or something like that. I don't even know, I don't remember her, man. Is that your sister? He's like, no man, that's wifey. I was like, yo, whoa. You always like the bad red bones, dog. So how all of a sudden, I ain't trying to bust on your wife or nothing like that, man, but how all of a sudden, man, you gonna, marry this, gorilla looking chick? And he's like, yo man, like you say, man, that's my wife, man. Come on, cool out, dog, cool out. He said, man, I told you, man, I put you up on game back then, I'm gonna put you up on game now, I'm telling you. Yeah, those, real pretty chicks, that was all good, man. You could have your way with them, do your thing, dog. He says, but seriously, man, they can't cook worth a damn. He said, check this out, man, come on in the crib, sit down and get you something to eat, watch how I do this. So I go up in the crib, we sat there, so old girl comes back through, she's like, you want something to eat? I was like, yeah, I'll take some, I'm a little hungry. So she comes over, man, she fixes my plate. She's got like about 4 meats on the plate, she fixes my food, goes back in the kitchen, comes back, fills my drink, and we chilling, talking about the good old days. So I'm like, yo, dog, seriously, man, you playing with me, right? I know you didn't marry this chick, man. I know that's not your wife. He's like, dog, I'm telling you, man, stop talking about my girl. That's my girl. He said, dog, I'm telling you, man, it's a whole different world with the big ugly girls, man. He said, you can get anything you want up off of them. I was like, yo, man, but that's foul, man, that you living like that, man. If that's all you don't love the girl? He's like, dog, I love the fact that she working 3 jobs. He's like, she getting ready to dip up out of here right now. She just came home from work and fixed all this damn food, and she getting ready to leave and go back out to her next job. I'm like, come on, son, are you serious? He's like, yeah, dog, I'm telling you, man, these ugly girls are big girls, man. You know, that's what you gotta do, man. You gotta roll with that. So, you know, my dumb ass, you know, I had already bought the hook on the pretty girl way back in the day. So, of course, I married, you know, the pretty girl, you know, who basically, she can cook, but she ain't really trying to get up in the kitchen, you know, because she's spending too much time making sure every hair is right, which a brother appreciate, but at the same time, you know, I love to get me a little meal here and there, you know, but my girl, she's basically like, nah, you know, I ain't got time for the kitchen. Matter of fact, my wife cooks so rarely that my same homie came over, you know, he always want to clown, and he took 2 boxes of cereal, and he goes over to the stove, and he puts them on the side of the stove, like, clear, and like, what the hell are you doing, man? He's like, clear. I'm like, son, what you doing, man? He's like, man, I'm trying to revive your damn stove. Your damn wife ain't turned it on in so long, I know it's dead. So, you know, it was just a trip, but, you know, the fact is, I appreciate, like I say, my wife, she tells me, she's like, look, what would you rather have? You know, a woman that's out making, you know, a couple $1,000s a week, you know, $8,000 a month, or would you rather have, you know, a woman in the kitchen all the time? She's like, you can go, you know, stop wherever you want, you know, eat whatever you want, Red Lobster, you know, Famous Day, wherever you want to go. You can go get what you want, anytime you want, because I'm making that paper. And she's like, so which one do you want? I'm like, both, you know. Brother gotta eat, you know what I'm saying? So ladies, yeah, you do your thing, but on the real, you know, you gotta take care of your man. Just cause you're all pretty and everything, don't mean that your man don't need a little bit of TLC every now and then. You know, I told my lady, I'm like, you know, if I die, you ain't gonna know who the hell killed me, because I eat at McDonald's, Burger King, you know, Popeyes. I'm always eating wherever I can get it in, you know, so if anything happens to me, she won't even know where to start, you know. And I'm like, don't you mind that I'm eating at these other women's hand? You know, I'm sitting here, you know, you don't know what these women doing back there in their kitchen. You don't care that your man eating at their hand? You know, she's like, you better go get you something to eat, you know, that's all I'm gonna say. And, you know, then it's always that when you do go get that meal, you go to Popeyes, and you got the little chick, I roll up in the Hummer, jump up, you know, to the window. I'm like, hey, let me get this 3-piece dog, you know, mashed potatoes and gravy and some green beans or something like that, or some dirty rice, you know. And the little chick, she all hanging out the window, damn near about to fall out the window into my car, you know. And she's like, ooh wee, I sure would be looking good up in there. You need to holler at me so I can get up in there and holler at you. I'm like, little girl, let me tell you something. Get your ass back in there. I got cologne older than you. You know, go get me another piece of damn chicken. That's what you can do. Make this a 4-piece. So it's just crazy, you know, but that's my life. Beyond that, you know, brother, just like I say, I'm like Steve Harvey, got that third eye. You know, I'll go out and, you know, you go to that, you know, Chinese joint, and, you know, the Asian people, they want that money up off of you, but they be tripping. You ever gone to the Asian buffets and you're sitting there and they got the sweet tea ninja? Come on now, y'all know what I'm talking about, sweet tea ninja. You know, that chick that be standing over there with the pitcher of sweet tea? You at the buffet, right? So every time, you know, you basically take a drink out of your damn cup, they run over, aye, you know, jump back in the corner, you know, go back, you know, you'd be like, okay. So me and my homie, we gonna have, you know, we always acting a fool, so we had to make a game out of it. So, you know, basically, I was like, yo man, check this out. Watch when I take a drink out of the drink, man, how quick old girl come over here. So I took my drink, took a drink. Hey, goes back. So basically we did about 3-4 times, man, and finally, we got on up and did our thing, rolled out. But it's always the Asian joints, they're gonna make sure that they fill your ass up on that sweet tea so that you don't eat up all their food. I know y'all heard the joke a couple times when the brother goes up in the joint, and that's how me and my boys used to roll up in there strong. We go up in there, and especially when we done got our smoke on, we trying to do some damage. We trying, I'm a big brother, so I can grub. So we go up in the joint, clean out the whole buffet. And, you got the Korean dude, he run over there, oh no, eat whole buffet. Pay for whole buffet. You pay now. Like, no, man, back up off of me, dog. I already done paid you, man. I paid when I came in the door. How you gonna try to get some more money up off of me? You said, buffet, that mean all you can eat. No, you eat whole buffet. You can't eat whole buffet. You must pay. You go pay. So it's always, with the Asian people. But you gotta love them too, because they definitely get their hustle on. They got the dry cleaners, they got the liquor stores, they got the restaurants, they got the nail salons. You can't mess with them on the nail salons. Ain't nobody doing no nails like the Korean techs. They got the airbrush and, they got all the glitter and, they can hook it up and do anything with some damn fingernails. You can't, mess with them old Ajumas though. You go up in there. I remember my old lady came home one time, her damn heel was about bleeding because they scraped the heel down. Ajuma can't see no more. They get up in there, just start filing your shit down. Next thing you know, they down to the damn bone on the heel of your foot. So you have to keep your eyes on them because they will mess your girl up. My old girl come home, she limping and everything. I'm like, what the hell wrong with you, babe? I went and got my nails done. I told you I was going to get a petty mani. I'm like, petty mani? Your damn heel about bleeding. What the hell you do? You get hit by a car or something? A dog bit you? So the Koreans, they be getting their hustle on. You gotta love them. They definitely know how to grind and get their money.